No greater excitement I have every day when I get to introduce this man. Rick Bucher knows everything there is to know about basketball. Always a treat if this man is on your television. Slick, we talk off camera about games. We're texting each other about what's going on in the world of the NBA. For context, just so y'all know, not my own opinion, this man has NBA votes, first team, second team, third team. He votes on MVPs, so he is esteemed by all of the NBA community.
Can we have a quick trivia, though? What's that? Question about?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
People don't know this. Ladies and gentlemen out there, what age you think Slick Rick started drinking coffee? Hey, hit us on Twitter. Let us know.
We will let y'all know by the end of the segment. Rick, the Mavericks have been absolutely maligned for making the trade of Luka Doncic. But they might make the playoffs without Luka, without Kyrie, with just Anthony Davis, with just Klay Thompson. They might make the playoffs with P.J. Washington. Would a playoff appearance this season justify the Luka Doncic trade, at least for now? At least for now.
Nothing is going to justify that trade in the short term, because that trade wasn't made just for the short term. Let's keep in mind the fact that even if they go further, even if they somehow, some way, they went further in the playoffs than the Lakers did, it would not justify this trade. And I'm speaking in part from the perspective of Dallas Mavericks fans. They are heartbroken over the fact that they lost Luka Doncic. Not just because of what he did, but what they thought he was going to do in the future. And the Dallas Mavericks made the decision, you know what? We don't believe that he's going to do what he's done in the future or better. They're essentially saying, we felt that we would never win a championship with Luka Doncic. Wow. That's why Nico Harrison keeps saying over and over again, defense wins championships. Why is he saying that? Because that's the one thing that Luka does not give you consistently, right? They made this trade for two reasons. One, they did not believe that it would be a wise investment of $345 million over 5 years for Luka Doncic, right? So it's ripped because they traded away a guy who took them to the finals last year. And the second part is because of what they got back. The feeling is if you were going to move Luka, then you should have gotten a much bigger bag than you did, right? So the question is going to be, what do they do over the next 5 years? Do they have more success over the next 5 years than Luka Doncic does with the Los Angeles Lakers? That is going to justify the trade, and only that. And I know, look, we're on TV. Fans, you want to react immediately. Like, well, the Lakers won the trade when he went into Dallas and won 45, right? That's not why this trade was made.
Let me disagree with you respectfully.
Sure.
I'm a Mavs fan. I grew up in Dallas.
You can do it disrespectfully.
The trade cannot be justified from a fan perspective. I agree with Rick on that wholeheartedly. Where it can be justified from a basketball perspective. Nico Harrison, who made the trade, he said defense wins championships. How the Mavericks won the game last night? They held the Kings to 106 points. Kings average 115 points. Let me also remind you, if we can remove the sensationalism, the first year, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, how far did they go in Dallas? Oh, they didn't even make the playoffs. They were the 11th seed. By the time they made the trade acquisition, they started as a 6th seed and they fell. If the Mavericks can make the playoffs in Anthony Davis's first year in Dallas, even without Kyrie, what can they do in the second year with Kyrie? Because remember, the second year of Luka Doncic and Kyrie, they made it to the finals. They didn't win the NBA championship, I would suggest, because of defense. So if in the first year of your trade with AD and Kyrie, you could make the playoffs, and the first year of your trade with Kyrie and Luka, you missed the playoffs. The second year of your trade with Kyrie and Luka, you went to a finals. What can you do in the second year of your trade with Kyrie and AD? So from a fan perspective, agree with Rick wholeheartedly. I live and breathe and die by Dirk Nowitzki. I believe that was the hardest championship to acquire since the turn of the generation. I am Dallas Mavericks, MFFL, Mavs fan for life through and through. I get it. I drive down Nowitzki Way when I go back to Dallas, Nowitzki Boulevard. But I'm simply suggesting, Slick, if the Mavs make the playoffs this year without Kyrie, without Luka, as injury-riddled as you can be, imagine what the future is. I do believe making it does justify it for now.
I think the important word in that is justify. It gives you hope. It gives you promise. It gives you reason to believe that, okay, maybe we're going somewhere with this team. But to justify the Mavs trade means that you are justifying everything that drove that, which was Luka's not going to be good enough for us. It wasn't about the team that you had. It was about what Luka was or wasn't going to do. And you have to justify that Luka wasn't going to continue to be Luka in Dallas. And I don't know how you justify that until you get to a place where you see what Dallas was without Luka and what Luka does someplace else.
Yeah, so I watched him yesterday. Let me answer the question first. No, you can't justify this trade. You don't trade a guy like Luka, never, okay? Unless he's older and he can't get it done no more. But he's still in his prime. And he carries his team, right? I mean, Nico hasn't had the best rosters, and Luka's carried a lot of these rosters. But I just want to talk about this for a second. So I watched the game yesterday, right? And Nico said, hey, man, I need more defense, right? And he's right, because Luka don't play no defense. As I watched the game against Sacramento, and I placed the wager and I won, as I'm watching, I'm like, man, they have defense.
Yep.
They're big, they're long, right? They got wing defenders. You can't come in the paint. You got almost 3 7-footers. So they did their thing defensive-wise. Even though the numbers say that, if you really watch the game, they was blowing them out. They couldn't score. That was the thing. The Sacramento just couldn't score. Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, okay, cool, all right. But even that, I still wouldn't trade that for Luka. Because there's going to be other teams that are big, too, that can score. And then bucket for bucket, they can't hold it with nobody, right? Because now I'm banking on Klay Thompson, a little older, to always contribute and score 20-some points. Then I'm asking P.J. Washington, can you score like that at will? No, they can't. And then all this stuff going on, Kyrie Irving is still hurt. Yeah. So as I'm looking at it, it's like, yo, as a GM, I'm trying to see how this thing works. Because when they watch that team, they don't look the same with Luka. Like, they're not believable. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you get the defense part that you wanted, but even watching them play, because now it's playoff basketball, right? Yeah. I'm watching this game. I watched the Bulls game. I've been watching the Golden State Warriors. I watched the Grizzlies. I'm watching all these games now. I'm watching the intensity grow. I'm watching the Clippers against the Warriors, right? Them teams, they beat on Dallas. They beat on Dallas.
Sure.
Yeah. So as we think about this trade, it don't make sense because
it's never gonna make
the outcome is not gonna get what you want. I don't see this team going to no finals.
Not this one.
No.
But remember, Kyrie's hurt. Remember, Kyrie's hurt.
Kyrie Irving there, I don't see them. And I love Kyrie Irving. Let's just keep it respectful, right? But him being the leader of a team, him being the number one, we seen it before? Yeah. With Boston, that didn't work out, right? I don't see it, though. Maybe this is me. I don't see it.
Since we're being
I'm a basketball nut,
we're being respectfully, this is a different Kyrie Irving. What I have seen, the Kyrie Irving that I've seen in Dallas since he got there, let's think about it for a second. All the other places, there was some kind of turmoil. Mm-hmm. There was some kind of distraction. Even in Boston, it was, yes, I'm here for life. Now I don't know, right? And then Brooklyn, obviously, with COVID and all that stuff. This is different. Yeah. He's been a different guy. So I don't know if he can beat.
Off the court?
I'm talking about in totality. And this is the one, I want James to go, but this is the one thing I will take away from this Dallas Mavericks team is the Dallas Mavericks fans were gutted, yes, by Luka being traded. You know who hasn't shown me that they are gutted? The Dallas Mavericks players have not shown me that they are gutted. They have shown me that they see this as an opportunity to show Luka wasn't just carrying us. Mm-hmm. Like, we were part of our success.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. They're playing, whether you believe that or not.
They in the last place in the play-in, though.
They're playing like that. What's that?
They in the last place in the play-in.
Yeah, well, I mean, with
roster that was
with
hurt
AD, I mean, no. If you're not ignoring, you're ignoring a ton of injuries.
James, get in there. James, get in there.
This is what I will say, because we're trying to defend the Mavs. The answer is no, only if they win the championship. You cannot justify trading Luka. The only way you can if you win a championship. And I don't know.
Year, or
no, just period.
Yeah.
At some point. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen. We're talking about the Mavericks right now, and yes, AD is out there playing well, but we know he don't play a lot of games. If he don't play a lot of games, we know, as good as Kyrie is, he cannot carry a team like Luka can carry a team to the finals.
That's fair.
And the only way that you could justify this is if you get to the finals. And if you don't, the GM's gone. and he's gone. You traded away a statue player, a Hall of Fame player, the heartbeat of the city and the team. The only way to justify it is if you go win a championship, not get there because Luka took you there. Win a championship. And I don't see that in the future for the Dallas Mavericks. I don't. And you taught me that because everybody in the West going to get stronger.
Yep. But
including the Lakers and Luka. It is going to be extremely tough.
That I can't agree with.
I'm telling you, the Lakers is going to make sure they get better.
He said the Lakers are going to get better like everybody else in the West.
The Lakers are going to make sure they get better, too.
Okay, so wait, last night, right? First of all, I don't think Anthony Davis that trade with Luka is not a good trade, right? They should have got more.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Last night. So they blow him out, right? Y'all see the stat line? Y'all think Anthony Davis played great last night?
No.
Because we really watched the game for real.
Yeah.
They really got the lead and got the score when he was on the bench. Let's keep it real.
Yep.
Right? The dude is, I don't know how tall he is. He's tall as hell. I've been around him. And I like Anthony Davis. We cool. Shot a whole bunch of jump shots, fadeaways. I'm like, this is who y'all want? Not even him, because he's not the issue here. But you trade him for Luka? Yeah. And y'all telling me, last thing real quick, because everybody just don't win championships after championships. It's hard to do that, okay? Like Dirk, we all love Dirk. It took time for Dirk to win that championship,
All the
okay?
time.
I got other players the same way. LeBron had to go team up with somebody to figure it out to win championships. MJ took years to get his chips. And y'all telling me that if they win one championship, it justifies it? Because they're not going to win no chip for a long, long time anyway.
But here's...
And it's going to make it even longer now you get rid of Luke.
I think we're speaking with a lot of sensationalism. I think we're speaking with a lot of Luka Doncic, which I'm guilty of because I agree, Luka Doncic, face of an organization, and I think it's more than basketball. But here's why it can be justified. It truly can be justified is the dilemma with Luka is he did not play defense.
Right.
The strength of the Mavericks is that they do play defense. Furthermore, if you add Kyrie, everything Shady said in his first time talking was the Mavs don't have the offense that scares you, don't have the offense that scares you. Kyrie is one of the best scorers of the generation, one of the best scorers since the turn of the century. But I'm also reminded, when we first saw Luka and Kai, they did not work. So if AD alone can lead the Mavericks to the playoffs, which Luka and Kai could not, and they were healthy. Luka and Kai healthily led the Mavs to an 11 seed. If AD alone can lead the Mavericks to the playoffs, and even as a fan, let alone as a basketball executive, you have to ask yourself, imagine what AD and Kai can do. If AD alone can get you to the playoffs, what might AD and Kai be able to do? And for that reason, I could say justification for now, because if the Lakers don't win a chip, what's it going to be? Why? It's going to be because teams attack Luka. So Nico Harrison's going to be sitting on a bench along with Shady watching and Slick and myself and you at home watching. If the Lakers don't win a championship, it's not going to be because they couldn't score. It's not going to be because Austin Reeves. No, it's going to be because the Celtics attack Luka, because Ja attack Luka, because Curry or Jimmy Butler attack Luka, because Shea attack Luka, because Jamal Murray attack Luka. It's going to be because Luka couldn't play defense, which just furthers the justification.
They always say, they're going to talk bad about you when you're gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy for Dallas Maverick fans or the GM to say, we want to get better on defense. Luka took y'all to the Western Conference Finals and the finals with no defense.
Zero defense.
You understand what I'm saying?
From him.
From him.
Because collectively, one of the things that Nico did, and that's we're going to push back that the GM hasn't done anything, he built a team around Luka that allowed him to be the offensive genius that he is, and everybody else defending. You draft Derek Lively, you get Daniel Gafford, you get P.J. Washington. Those guys allowed him to be much like Allen Iverson in Philadelphia. You put the players around him to do all the dirty work so that he could shine.
Slick, I agree with that. But most teams, right, not to shine light on Nico, most teams that got a really good score on offense that don't play defense, they all do that. Steph Curry, he's a great defender. What are we going to do with Steph? We're going to get defenders around him. Let you score. That's what everybody does.
Right.
My thing with Luka is, with the routes that you gave me, right, I'm carrying these dudes. I love Kyrie Irving. And he is injured. And I don't know how he's going to come back. Hopefully he comes back like the old Kyrie. But even at the best Kyrie, right, I can't see him carrying these group of teams because I haven't seen it. I've seen you with Bron.
Yeah.
I've seen you with Bron. That looks amazing. I've seen you with Luka. That's amazing. But I also seen with dudes that's not as high as them guys, and you didn't carry him. I've seen that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So the fan in me says, yo, Kyrie gonna do it. Yeah. But the analyst, the guy that's watching, that did the research, that have his interns help me out with the notes and all that and looking at it, I haven't seen it.
But
you all haven't seen it either.
Ask a question. How long do you think it's going to take for them to win the championship? Let's say Kyrie comes back and he's the old Kyrie. How long do you think it's going to take the Dallas Mavericks? Looking at the West right now.
How long could it take?
How long could it take? Looking at the West right now, how long could it take for them to win a championship?
Just time-wise, it has to happen in the next year or two.
But that's not going to happen, though.
I'm not dismissing that.
They're not going to be a 3 seed in the next 2-3 years. And another thing is,
I'm with you, Slick, though. I'm not dismissing it.
Oh,
now the best way to answer James's question is to suggest how they only have 4 years to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because unlike Dirk, to Shady's point, Dirk ended up winning in 2011. But AD and Kai they got 4 years to do it. If they don't do it in 4 years, I'm not even suggesting it was a result of the Luka trade. Then it's just a result of basketball continuing to mature and materialize.
There's one other element here, because we keep just looking at the Dallas Mavericks and we keep putting it up on them that if they don't win a championship. What if Luka doesn't win a championship in LA?
Correct.
Doesn't that's
as well.
part of this too.
1,000%.
Right? It's what he does. Because yes, he went to the finals. He took them to the finals. I'm not disputing any of that. The reason they made the trade was they were like, that's our high watermark. Like, that's as good as we're going to do. And if we are really trying to build a championship team, and we know that we're never going to win a championship with Luka, then we need to pivot and go in another direction.
So can I ask you this?
That's what drove the deal.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.